One shot, now the future is yours. Go! One shot for the kill, the breeze cut, freeze up, straight drop in the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A ball break sky high, check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark to motivate and make the industry shake. We put the balls in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover, broke the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. See, I was so close for the go. There's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah. It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Ho, hey, what's going on, Ray Kelly? Nice of you to join me tonight. This is like a last-minute stream. My wife's out of the house right now, and my son's sleeping in the other room, and I'm just wanting to talk cameras. There's a lot of rumors going on with the Sony, so I figured I'd just jump on here and make a little live video for whoever shows up. So Kyle's out shopping around the Mall of America, and here I am at the house all by my lonesome. I got some cool videos coming out about the A7C. I just recorded a Sony A7C accessories video, so if anybody shoots that, you'll be excited about that. Actually, Darmesh, what do I think about the Sony A7 price? Sorry if I butchered your username there. I think the price, I feel like $2,500 is a little steep, given that the A7 III was, at a great price point of like $2,000. Just, it reaches a lot of people. When you start jumping into that $2,500 range, it's getting really close to that A7S III pricing, and all those higher end cameras that start at like $3,000 and up. But I mean, from the rumors that we're going to go over tonight, there are besides the 4K 120, it seems like they're throwing a lot of the Sony A7S III features into this camera. And I mean, it's already like the same body style. What's up, Thomas Ariels and Chris Polk? What's going on, guys? So, I mean, I feel like it's probably going to be around $2,300, but what do I know? I'm just a guy in Orlando. So we'll see when the time comes. But, it's coming right around the corner. Supposedly October 21st is the rumored date. And they're going to announce it around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern time in Florida here. So hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, this is open for questions. If you have any questions at any time, I'll share my thoughts for whatever it's worth. I love Sony cameras and gear talk, and so I love speculating with everybody here. Eddie Nunez, who needs an A7 IV when you can get the A1? Yeah, Eddie Nunez, for you can afford a freaking Canon R3 right there on the release date. Most of us people aren't that bourgeoisie. We can't afford this right out of the gun, man. And best of luck to you, Eddie Nunez. I think you're a good man. So have fun next Wednesday for those of you who don't know, I stopped doing the drone brew stream. If anybody knew me from there, but I it's bittersweet, but there's some good people that will be filling in for the show. So best of luck to Eddie Nunez. Um, your white balance will always be better than mine for sure, especially your Canon colors. Thanks, mate. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait. Oop, yes, yeah, I cannot wait to see as well. This is the rumors they're stacking up, seem to be pretty awesome. Oh please, YouTube pays for it in 1 month. Yeah, I don't know about Paul makes it in 2 weeks. I don't know if you've seen my numbers. I mean, I don't even think Ken's channel, if you saw his numbers, his wouldn't even pay for it. But let's just dig right into some of these rumors here that were announced today. Now they're saying 4K 60 for sure, which we all knew that they had to have 4K 60 on this camera for people to be interested in it. I mean, people are already giving flack to the A7C for only having the same exact specs as the A7 III. So it's going to be oversampled from 4.8K in Super 35 mode and 10-bit 422. Now, that was a big question for me. I didn't know if they were going to go full out and add that full 10-bit, but it looks like the rumors are adding up that, and Sony Alpha Rumors is 99.999% right, which means they have a 60% chance of being right. I don't know what that actually boils out to, but Ray Kelly, sorry to see you leave. Yeah, Ken is a good man. He really wanted me to start focusing on my channel a lot more, and because I don't know anything about drones as much as Eddie Nunez and a lot of these other guys that can actually fly FPV. I crashed an FPV drone in 5 minutes, so not even 5 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't know. So anyway, this A7S, the A7S, the A7 IV can record 4K 60 now, which is that's great. We needed that. And 422 10-bit. That's very, very interesting. And of course, the 33 megapixel sensor, 15 stops of so to speak dynamic range. I bet it'll probably be more around the lines of like 13 or 14. The 3.69 million EVF. In 4K 30 it'll be oversampled from 7K. 4K 60 will be oversampled from 4.8K in Super 35 mode and 10 bits. 5.5 stops of dynamic, or 5.5 stops. That'd be terrible. 5.5 stops of IBIS. And the same body styles, A7S III, all the same NICs, like the full HDMI ports, dual card slots that can do both. The CF Express and HSC2. Same menu system from the A7S III, and they're still rumoring it to be about $2,400. But man, like I said earlier in the stream, that's pretty steep. I don't know how. What do you guys think in the stream? What would you guys buy this camera with those specs that I just listed for $2,499? Is that too steep for you, or are you expecting more of a lower pricing? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Any APS-C lens rumors in the wind, or are y'all going to drag me kicking and screaming to full frame? Chris Polk, you should go to full frame because it's all where the hype is. You know what? I think the APS-C line is great. They need more low light lenses. Like they need more low aperture lenses for their lineup, especially since that those numbers are even significant more when you compare them to full frame. But you got the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4. I mean, what other lens do you need? I am now using this Sony 24 millimeter 1.4 G Master. I love it. It's super nice. I'm actually running it at 1.4 right now with the Freewell magnetic VND filter with the mist base. So it's giving me like one stop of light reduction, so I can actually bump it down because this is my light's as low as it goes, and it's crazy. So I have to have this one stop to get this light looking right in this room. My white balance is still off, but everybody will forgive me for that. Maybe not Chris Brockhurst, if you know, but if he ever actually sees this stream. Will there be a 6400 upgrade coming soon? You know, Kyle and I talked about this a little bit last week when we streamed, and I don't know. We're like both on the fence about this one. We don't think APS-C is dead, but it seems like they're moving all their APS-C line in that ZVE10 kind of like newbie spectrum, like where everything's really basic and easy to turn on and have auto configured. And it's just like, are they actually going to pump out any more high-end APS-C cameras? Because I mean, the A7C is a full frame camera in an APS-C sized body, and it is doing, has a lot of great specs that would be required in a high-end APS-C camera, other than like 10-bit or something like that. But I'm pretty sure that whatever the specs of this A7 IV, a year and a half or so down the line, they're probably going to come out with another A7C Mark II, and it will be the exact same thing as this A7 IV that's about to release, but in a smaller body as well. And that's I love. I can't say it enough. I love this A7C. That's just the size. It's perfect for photography. The EVF doesn't get in the way too much. I don't mind it being really small. I'm a lot of the time I'm shooting with the screen. I'm shooting photography, not necessarily using the EVF all the time. I do use the EVF from time to time, but it's not like I'm using the EVF 100% of the time. What this guy tried to show up here. If you bought a proper key light, this wouldn't be an issue. You know what? I had a proper key light, and my wife started using this desk for work, and she said it was too big. So I don't know. I got this one for really cheap, and it's nice. It's nice, but yeah, it's not like a big softbox. It's like a flat flex light. And has a nice little remote like this. I mean, it's nice. It's nice, but I don't know. The mist, I like the mist on this filter. Ken knows all about this filter. But I feel like the mist is a little bit too heavy for my taste. I mean, part of this is the 1.4, but a lot of it is it's just a really heavy mist. But anyways, yeah, I mean, going back to the APS-C question, there are a lot of great Tamron lenses. Man, somebody is just blowing me up here. My phone. I'm going to mute this. There's a lot of great APS-C lenses from Tamron. That new wide-angle lens, that 11 to 20 or whatever, man, that thing looks killer. If I was an APS-C user, I would be buying that one immediately. That thing looks awesome. And listen, if you are APS-C, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe just price is the only concern, but you can use full frame lenses with your APS-C cameras. That's why I love the E-mount, because you can use it for both APS-C and full frame. So if you upgrade to full frame, you can still use some of your APS-C lenses on your full frame camera, and vice versa. When my wife first started shooting, she had an A6600 and I only had all full frame lenses, and we shared lenses. They were a full frame because you just mount it on the APS-C camera and it does the crop factor. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit more pricey, but I mean, if I was you, I would probably invest in full frame lenses if you have any consideration of jumping maybe to like a camera like the A7C or something that's full frame. But I mean, they're going to continue slowly pumping out APS-C stuff, but not nearly at the rate of this full frame. I mean, of course. Do you think that the Sony A7 IV is currently in the hands of you? I surely do hope so. I think that it is for sure in the hands of other Sony users right now, or of other big YouTubers right now, because I see a lot of big YouTubers that had multiple A7 S3s, or like they had an A7 S3 and an FX3, and they're now selling their A7 S3s. And it's like, it seems, the timing is just, they're preparing for that. They now have the A7 IV, they've tested it, they've been using it, and they're like, okay, I'm definitely going to be buying this. Let me off-sell my A7 S3 just in time, so I still get the big resale value, and there's not a market. Because once the A7 IV releases, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who bought the A7 S3 that are like, you know what, I really don't need this much of a camera. but I'm gonna go ahead and sell it and save some money and get the A7 IV, and then maybe buy a lens or something with the difference, or put it towards something else in their kit. Um, but I mean, I love the A7S III. I use it, and the 12 megapixels for me is great because I hate large file sizes. One of the downsides with the A7 IV will be that it's going to be a 33 megapixel sensor. Now, it's not going to be nearly as big as the A1's 50 megapixel, but the file sizes are still going to be bigger than the A7S III. And honestly, for me, I just upload photos and everything on social media, and plus, when I do need a little bit more megapixels out of my camera, I have this A7C for photography, and I prefer using this for photography just because of the size of it. And but I do use the A7S III is a fantastic photography camera, especially at nighttime. I think this weekend is my birthday this weekend, and on Sunday, so I'm probably going to go out Sunday night. My wife said I can do whatever I want. I think we're going to go out and eat some sushi, and we're probably going to go to downtown Orlando and shoot some photography together. I'm going to try to train her more to use this camera, and do some nighttime photography in downtown Orlando. There's some really great spots like on Lake Eola. I don't know if anybody in the stream here is from Orlando or has been there before, but there's a lot of great spots in downtown Orlando. So we're going to just drive out there and do some walking and do some shooting, because that's just, I never get to do that very often. And I'm really, I love photography. It's a big passion of mine. Liberty Ranger, full frame all the way. All right, listen, guys, if you don't know who this guy is, listen to Liberty Ranger. He owns a great company. You're probably going to see him in one of my videos because I'm doing a video on this 35 millimeter 1.8 lens. I took it and did a lot of shooting with the A7C, and this is a great lens. I would still probably prefer that 1.4 G Master because it's just beautiful. But this lens is really small, and it gets the job done, and it works very well on this A7C. And this lens is not mine. This is Liberty Ranger's. He yeah, we know you've been to Orlando, Liberty Ranger. Matter of fact, we need to go. We still need to do bird photography with that 600 millimeter f4 lens that you have. I don't know what kind of crazy person will go out and spend $10,000 on a lens that's just for hobbyists. You must have some money to burn, Liberty Ranger. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, this lens belongs to him. His name is Mike. He's back actually in one of my videos, my first videos when I went to a Sony B Alpha event. But this lens is fantastic for the size. It fits perfectly on the A7C. When I want to take the A7C out and just go shoot, this is the perfect lens just to snap on there, have a great prime, low light ability, and just and fire off a lot of shots. If you look at my Instagram, a lot of the Disney spring shots were all done with this lens. It's been a very great lens. I've really enjoyed it. One day I will give it back to Liberty Ranger whenever he says he needs it back or something. But he also has a 55, but I borrowed it for a little bit, but I didn't use it. But yeah, Liberty Ranger, he owns a film developing company, and it's called Reformed Film. Anyway, he is doing some fantastic. Luckily, I might be going over there to do some video for him because he's got to do some marketing for that new building that he's moving into. That's a great thing about Sony. Yes, the great thing. I'm sure you're talking about the E-mounts. Sounds like Paul will be leveraging that EDU discount in the near future. Dude, I leverage that EDU discount all the time. If you guys don't know about it and you have a student email address or teacher address, that's like the best account to get. You get 10% off all the time on Sony, and it stacks on the sales that they're doing. So I got this 24 millimeter 1.4 lens for $1080 shipped to me. It was just a fantastic deal. So you really can't go wrong with that discount. When you buy it at the right time, you can get some serious good stuff with that. I'm hoping Sigma updates the 18 to 35 f 1.8 for better Sony AF. It's kind of an APS-C micro four thirds Civic. I have the Sigma 16, the Sony 50, Sony 10 to 18, the Laowa 9 mm, and some vintage. Yeah, I have a vintage lens. right here. This is a Canon FD. This is a 28 millimeter 2.8. So it's a nice little lens. Um, it has a look to it that you can't get with these lenses these days. It's kind of it's fun to shoot with, especially since it's all manual. But I don't know. It was my first lens that I got before I actually got any lens. I just got like in a little adapter. It was like $10 on Amazon. I don't shoot with it nearly enough as I did when I first got it, clearly, but um, the 10 to 18 is a really cool lens. I heard that if you zoom into like 12 millimeter on a full frame camera, the vignetting goes away and you just see the 12 millimeter, which is pretty neat. I've never tried that lens myself, but I heard the stabilization in it and everything is great. A perfect real estate lens, even though it's f4. So if you can get by with these Sony cameras have you can just increase the ISO. A lot of people don't know that. My buddy Ken, if he's still here in the chat, he used to shoot on Sony, and he had the APS-C cameras, and when he first was shooting Sony in real estate, and he would just crank up that ISO. Man, they get great low light, even though they're not an A7S, they're not an A7 III, they're not full frame. You can crank that ISO limit on those things, and you can get some great images out of those. Happy early birthday! Thank you, man. Yep, the first person here that sent me something was Mr. Kyle Watts in the chat. I don't know what he's doing. If he wanted to jump in, he could. I should send him a link just in case he happens to get home early or something, and I'm still streaming. But for those of you who don't know, Mr. Kyle Watts and I are going to be doing a regular live stream starting next week. We haven't figured out the name. We're not going to keep the alpha shot. We'll talk about a lot of Sony cameras, but we're kind of want to make it more camera gear focused than Sony cameras. Right now, it works out great because there's just so much Sony stuff coming out. But let's see here. Too bad there won't be a Sony camera camp for creators to check out the new A7 IV soon. It's not that one time at Sony Camera Camp. It's one time at Sony Camera Camp. Come on, man, get it right. I would love to go back to Sony Camera Camp. For those of you who don't know, I got the pleasure of going, and it was a fun time. I had dinner with Sydney DeYoungson. So we are actually going to be bringing in some guests. Chris Brockhurst is going to be a guest in the future. We have a number of people who are very interested in being guests on this live stream that Kyle and I are going to be doing. So if you like these big YouTubers, I know I have a lot of great buddies that are big YouTubers that we can chat Sony gear all day long. So you gotta hit like the stream, subscribe, and we're gonna be kind of rotating it. So 1 week I'll do it on my channel, 1 week we'll be doing it on Kyle's. So you really gotta subscribe to both of us to be able to join in on the party. So it'll be a fun time. We're gonna be having some amazing guests. I think Kyle said if we can get Josh Yo on the stream, we might have to do some wear denim shirts. I don't know, that'd be kind of funny. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so Kyle was the one that was telling me about this. Yes, the 10 to 18 does work on the A7S III zoomed into 12 millimeters. So yes, Kyle was the one that told me about that. I mean, send it. Send what? Send what? What are you talking about, bro? Oh, send the link. Okay, yeah, you got it. It's coming your way, bro. Let's see. But yeah, anybody else got any questions, concerns? You guys, anything else you're excited about? Another cool announcement is the Sony 70-200, and that lens is gonna hopefully, like, everybody complains that I know about the original one. The AF speed is just not nearly as crisp and fast on that 70-200. So I'm really hoping that we can get a better motors in that new 70-200 and get some nice stabilization in it, and it maybe be a little bit smaller as well, because man, I don't know, Tamron is just pumping out glass after glass after glass, and Sony owns a piece of Tamron. So I have a hard time believing that they're not going to try to come up with a more compact 70-200, because that original one is a huge brick. But That's also on the horizon. I don't know. Is anybody in the stream actually planning to get the A7 IV? Um, I'm not. I mean, if I can get my hands on it and play with it for a little bit from one of my buddies or something, I might do some videos on it. But I'm content with the A7C and my A7S3. I don't really need anything else. Might be announced. So they're saying that the 70 to 200 lens might be announced next week. So and then obviously the week after that will be the A7 IV. So I mean it's a great, and we knew this was going to be happening. A lot of releases are happening in October, not just in the in the Sony camera world, but just in general. There's a lot. It's an expensive month to be a creator or a camera nerd like us. Just mad expensive. So yeah, this new Tamron 35 to 150, $18.99. But I've never, a zoom lens, the world's first zoom lens that's a f2 to 2.8. That is some crazy sauce right there. My buddy from California, he shoots a lot of just casual with the family, and he really wants it just so he can have one lens to rule it all, one lens to take to the zoo, one lens for family photography. And yeah, it's pricey. It's also a little big too. It's a little bit bigger than the 28 to 75, and it's definitely heavier. So it's not going to be a light lens by any means. Liberty Ranger has the A1. And what you want to share your thoughts about that A1 in the chat, Mister? Because that A1, I really want to get my hands on that thing. I just not because I'm gonna buy one ever, because I'm not that much of a baller like you, bro. But it seems like a real fun camera to shoot with, and he's got the 600 millimeter f4, which I'd love to just get. I played with that lens at camera camp, but ooh, are you still there, Michael? I don't think you're there anymore. Some other things that it's going to be going on. I have this A7 III accessories video. I'm probably going to do a video on should you upgrade from the A7C to the A7 IV or A7 III to A7 IV. I got a lot of little lens reviews I want to do. I want to do a shot with this 24 millimeter lens. If I can get my hands on the 20 millimeter lens, I'd love to do a side-by-side comparison of the 24 and the 20, because those are the two comparable lenses that you have these days, as far as like focal length, but one is half the price of the other essentially, or you can So I'd love to do a video on that. I just got to get my hands on that 20 millimeter lens. I also want to do another video on this freewell filter versus this cheap one that I have. There's just a lot of videos that I want to be doing more focused on the Sony system and the Sony cameras. So if you are a Sony fanboy like myself, you gotta jump on it. But Kyle, I know someone who has a 20 millimeter lens as well, but you live you live so far away, bro. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to actually get to hang out again. Dude, I loved shooting with Kyle when he was down here. We're both two Sony nerds, so it was like Sony nerd heaven. I mean, anytime I get to shoot with any creators, Ken and I, when we made this video for this ND filter, man, we had a blast. I was riding skateboards around. We were doing the whole YouTubey, nerd thing you do when two camera nerds get together, and just the typical YouTube stuff, ride electric skateboards, filming stuff, shooting B-roll inside a studio, doing funky dory headshots of somebody who's like about as fat and ugly as me. It's we had a great time. So anytime we get to shoot with people, I just, it's hard because I don't know very many creators here in Orlando. All my camera buddies are like at least an hour or 2 hours away, and then we got Kyle Watts. It's like on the other side of the globe over there in Minnesota and Mighty Ducks land. Um, Mr. Kyle Watts over there doing his hockey dealio. I don't know. Supposedly they're famous for sausages too. Like the food. Their famous food is sausage. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I would love, I mean, if there was anybody in Orlando, I would love to do like a get together, a creative get together where we get to go shoot some like, street photography out in downtown Orlando or something. Because I know a guy that actually is a Sony ambassador. He owns a coffee shop here in Orlando. And I'm sure we could get him to just join us for one night. I mean, like the guy is super nice. He's actually the reason I went to Sony Camera Camp. I met him at a B Alpha event down here in Orlando, and then I messaged him on Instagram like, "Yo, I applied for Sony Camera Camp," and he was like, "All right." And so, when I got the accepted email, I sent it to him like, "Yo, I got in, woohoo!" And he's like, "I know, I picked your name," But that was funny. He's a real cool guy. So, Thomas, yes, go Ducks, man, and I don't know. My wife and I watched that like new Mighty Ducks series. It was all right. It got way better than like the last few episodes, and the one episode where all the old characters were in was great. But Richmond Ariels, what's up, dude? Where's the super chat button? And my A6900. Well, first of all, the super chat button, I wish I could turn it on, but my channel is actually not monetized yet. One, because I haven't turned it on, because I don't want to just jump the gun and do it right when I can. But even if I could, I can't anyway, because I don't have 4,000 watch hours on my channel, which is really weird. I have a lot of videos on my channel, but I guess I'm not cool enough to get as many views in 1 year as Kyle Watts can. So he hit 1,000 subscribers and already had way more watch time on his channel than mine. So even though I hit 1,000 subscribers and I'm over that, I still don't have 4,000 watch. I think I'm sitting around 3,500 or something like that. So I still need like 500 more watch hours with over the last 365 days to be able to get to that monetization point. So I can't turn on super chats, but yeah, sorry. If you wanted to, I appreciate it though. Eventually I will get those going. I will definitely get those going. So, but I'm so small. There's only 11 people here. You can ask whatever you want. But I know Richmond, you're just a super nice dude. You just wanted to throw some support my way. So I really appreciate it. Every dime that I do make on this YouTube channel currently goes back into purchasing more gear. And so I do have a little bit of a budget right now. But I do have like monthly bills that have to go out to pay for music licensing and stuff like that I'm gonna have to be cognizant of. But yeah, I mean, all the money pretty much goes right back into my YouTube channel. If Ken was here, he would know that I need to really put that money into my internet speed. But it seems to be working all right now. I guess it's because only one person is streaming. But even though the background, the blur is like really crazy. I don't know if I'm not sure I'm gonna use this mist filter again. It's just super heavy. I don't know. Sorry if it looks like trash, trailer trash, as Vu Nugent would say. I'll put my TV on and repeat a few. And that thank you, Richmond Ariels. But I mean, if you want to do it, I'm not. Whatever. But at the end of the day, I got to grow my channel. With it's that'll help me in the short term, I guess, to get it turned on if I really wanted to. But I want to just grow this channel organically. So but if people were doing that, I mean, I wouldn't know. So, but I appreciate the love and support, bro. It's always appreciated. Yeah. So I don't know what time. I don't know what day we're gonna be streaming. I think right now we're gonna keep it to Wednesdays at 9 p.m. normally. But like I said, my wife's gone tonight, and I can do some camera chatting. The release date, so on the A7 IV is looking to be October 21st. The whole Back to the Future, October 21st, 2015. But no, October 21st. Great Scott. So that's going to be exciting, really exciting. Flippy screen, all that jazz, everything that is really needed. 4K 60. I think this camera will be the next big thing for sure. I don't think Sony is going to disappoint. I just wonder about the price. Hopefully that $2,500 price is not correct or is false, but fake it till you make it. I've been faking it till I make it for the last 2 years, and I didn't. I think the first person to really help project me into a good, positive forward motion was Ken Dobo from Original Dobo. He kind of helped mentor me a little bit to get me on the right direction of how to properly run a YouTube channel. And obviously, everybody talks about it, consistency. I was very consistent in my first year, but I haven't been as consistent this year, which I'm now working on. But yeah, I think the next person that is definitely pushing me forward is Kyle Watts now, because we're both kind of YouTube accountability partners. He has the same style channel as I do, and we're a good team. So I really appreciate him and his friendship and his continued support. So thank you, Kyle, bro. But yeah, man, the A7 is gonna be really sweet. Look like Sigma is announcing a 18 to 50 f2.8 DCDN contemporary lens, and it'll be announced on October 19th. Once again, this is it's a new APS-C lens. Hey, buddy, it's a new APS-C lens. So that'll be a good lens. It's gonna pretty much be Sigma's APS-C version of a 24 to 70, essentially, right? And so, that should be a really good lens. I like the Sony version. That was a fantastic lens. So I don't know if Sigma can make it come out and it be very price competitive to the Sony. I think they're going to have a winner there. I mean, I really do like the build quality of those Sigma contemporary lenses. Even though they're supposedly cheaper, the build quality is fantastic. I love that they're all metal build, and they're beefy. So if you haven't checked out already, I did a video comparing the Tamron 28 to 75 and the Sigma 24 to 70, and they both look fantastic. The preference is pretty much down to weight, and so you should check that video out. Kyle Watts and I did that downtown Disney. That was another fun day of filming. I wish I could have more people here to shoot with down here in Orlando. Kyle Watts just needs to move to Orlando. That's what I boil it down to. So if he could do that, that'd be gangster, and then like I could it's hard to make the trek over to Tampa to shoot with Dobo, even though it's only like an hour and 40 minutes away. But work life. Maybe one day I'd be cool enough to be a full-time YouTuber like Dobo. He's not a full-time YouTuber. He does other things. So, oh man, it is 9:34, and I'm just chatting away. I'd love to hear other opinions. I mean, what other things are excited? That new DJI action camera looks very interesting. They're just pretty much. It seems like they're just ripping off Insta 360 and just saying, yeah, we're gonna go with that whole, modular theme. Another news that I wanted to say. This relates to the A7 IV. So we might, as time gets closer, we'll obviously get more rumors and pictures and features. But supposedly on October 19th to the 22nd, Sony is going to be having the A7 IV on display for an exhibit at let's see, C8 EC. I don't know. Key8 instead of Create. I don't know. That's a weird name. 2021. It's like online, so it's an online convention. So that'll be interesting. We'll if that is true, then we're definitely going to get a lot of leaked images from that from people who post. I'm sure Sony Alpha Rumors will be blown up with various stuff, and it's just an exciting time to be not even only a Sony fanboy, but really a camera person in general. There's not one that you can. Oh, what up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Isn't it a great time to be a creator? I mean, come on.
October is an expensive time to be a creator.
Well, it might be expensive, but
it's an expensive time to be anything. I think it's just Q4 always is good for retail in general. I think so.
Oh yeah, and it's expensive for anybody because everybody's buying Christmas gifts and everything. So, I mean, there's that too.
I was actually at the Mall of America today. Crazy. It was crazy.
Was it nuts today?
Yeah, it's. I mean, what is it? Friday night. So, sorry, my week is off because I worked last weekend. So, yeah, it's just every store was just kind of nuts, and that place is never not busy. It seems like so.
Well, you look all nice and crispy. What are you using, the A6400 there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the settings are on, so it might be on 4K for all I know.
I mean, your white
I've had some problems lately with
sure.
yeah. I've had some problems lately with having the right camera settings apparently. So I don't know if you saw my last video, Paul.
Tell us about that. Let's see, shooting 3 times in a row? 3 times.
So I shot my review on the Sony ZV-E10, which is the new APS-C lens or camera, and I should have known better because I've been to this place before. There's this big like sledding hill that goes down to this cool park with this around a lake and stuff. And I'm sitting there walking down the thing without stabilization. Just looks awful. And I should have known better because I've done that shot before. So then some of my shots were just not great. So I went back and was like, I'm going to refilm a bunch of this stuff. So I went back to the place, refilmed a bunch of the stuff, last week, and got home and I put everything in my computer and everything looks great. I used some gimbals on some stuff. But I'm like, God, something still looks wrong about this. It looks kind of soft and mushy. And so then I go in and I kind of like look at the top of my thing. And when you drag a clip into like Final Cut, it automatically puts the project file to the right size. And I look, I'm like, why does it say 1080? And I'm like, oh crap. Like when I did that live stream last, I was using my camera on 1080, 30 frames per second.
Yep.
So it's, and it's not a big deal. I think a lot of creators will shoot stuff in 4K and then upload it in 1080 and just post it. But it's just like, I want to showcase what that camera is capable of and use it the way people are going to use it. And showing something that's like, hey, look at this sweet camera. You should, check this thing out. Here's how crappy it looks in 1080. I mean, how good it looks in 1080, instead of showing it in 4K. So I'm going to go back and completely reshoot all of what I did again tomorrow, pending the weather and sun. Because I gotta try to make some continuity a little bit. I probably will make a reference to shooting this again, and I'll probably show some of that footage I did in 1080. But I like to have continuity still look somewhat the same. So
if everybody's in the chat, tell me if the audio sounds okay. Because I know last week it was a little echoey because Kyle Watts
I'm wearing headsets.
Oh, you're wearing headphones today, so everything should be good.
Should be good. I don't have my speakers on, so. Oh, maybe I did.
Good. I'm just making sure because I went back to listen to that story. I'm like, ooh, that was really echoey. That was crazy. We're still working out these kinks, guys. This is great, but sounds great. Thanks, Thomas, man. You're working on a lot. I'm working on a lot. We're definitely getting this stream going. Mr. Producer Kyle over here just lining up some pretty sweet guests over here. My goodness.
I'll try and do anyways.
Myself a little bit.
I mean, half the people I met from you anyways, so.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing, I mean, yeah, the YouTube community is so amazing. They just, I don't know, all these big creators, I comment on all their videos, and I think they're just showing the love and appreciation for me, and I don't know, but it's almost like we made a little bit of a friendship there, even though I haven't met, like, I never met Chris Brockhurst in person. I just met him we had him one time on the live stream for Drone Brews, but and ever since then he keeps making fun of my white balance. But I don't know.
I mean, I've seen his videos before. You know, like a lot of these people, like you'll pop up in feeds. You might not think anything of it. You'll maybe watch a couple of videos of theirs, and then later on, all of a sudden, you like rediscover them again. And I love that about YouTube.
Right.
Same thing with like Jared Spink. Like I've seen like half of his videos, but then when I was first like introduced to him, he's like, "Do you want to be on this podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool, I guess." And I went back and started watching his videos. I was like, "Oh, I know who this is." Like, it's just funny that it's like when you don't subscribe to someone, sometimes you don't necessarily you see their videos, but you just don't have that following until you hit that button.
Well, honestly, even if you subscribe to somebody, if you don't have the notification bell turned on and you don't watch their videos regularly, you might never even see when they post new videos, because YouTube, if you don't watch them a lot, YouTube won't push them in your main window feed. So even if you are subscribed to them, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I'm subscribed to this guy. I might want to check out some of his content. So yeah, I always had to hit the bell notification for the ones that I like know I'm going to watch every single one of their videos, or at least see what they're posting, because some of the people I subscribe to, I don't watch all their videos, but I there's I'm looking for specific content type of stuff that they post.
Sometimes
but
there's some
all my
people
camera
I just,
nerd friends, I watch every single one of them.
There's a lot of people I subscribe to where I don't really care what their video is. I'm still watching it anyway. So
exactly, yeah. There's a lot of people like that for me. You're one of them. No.
yeah, okay.
I might have to watch it a second time after you sent it to me and said, "Hey, how's this video look?"
Yeah. Well, it's always funny. I always have a thumbs up on my videos before I post it. I'm surprised you don't comment like first on my videos while I share it to you unlisted.
I mean, that would just be cheating. I feel like that would be cheating. I can't be first if you're the person.
So Thomas just wrote,
okay,
is
here
it
we
a good
go.
time to... Oh,
yeah.
You
can take it, I guess. Go for
there
it.
it is.
Go for
I'm
it.
looking for my first camera, so when the A7 IV comes out, would an A7 III be a good buy? 100% yes. If the price is right, that's a
100%.
all you need to know is go watch channels like Kara and Nate. I know I've tried to get Paul to watch their stuff. They still use that same camera. And then like Cody Blue, I don't know what their new channel's name is right off. Cody and Victoria.
Cody Blue
I guess.
changed his channel name?
Yeah, it's Cody and Victoria now, and it's like a hiking adventure.
Oh, it's like a traveling,
kinda,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they only use the A7 III. And honestly, the second I saw one of Kara and Nate's channel, they were definitely using the A7S III for like one episode. I think it might have been someone else's. But all their videos, they were looking like this while they were talking to the camera. And they've never done that in 4 years on their other channel. So it's like, I think if you could just get used to not caring about staring at a screen, then that A7 III is going to be a perfect camera for you. And you can get that little Ulanzi thing anyways.
I mean, honestly, when I used the A7 III, the only part that sucked about not having a flip-out screen was that you couldn't frame the shot. Like, I just like the flip-out screen so I can look, okay, yep, everything looks great. And then once I have that initial, everything looks great, I don't really need the flip-out screen after that point because I want to try to focus on the lens.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it's there, you look at it. That's the problem.
And that is a problem. So you find yourself, even if you just keep like looking over at it, and it's that's one. I love the flip up screens on the 6400s because you couldn't really tell when you looked up at it. You couldn't really I mean, you could, if you looked your eyes maybe, but it was a lot harder to tell than
it all depends on it all depends on how you position your camera too. Like when I'm in our studio shots, my camera's actually a little bit above eye height and I aim it down. So then when you're actually staring at the screen like this, it still looks like you're looking at the lens. That's why I personally like the flip up lenses or screens better, but I'm very much in the minority on that. You'll notice every video that I'm using the A7S III, I'm constantly looking over to my right, especially if you're like showing a product, you're doing that every time where you're looking to the side. So,
the Thomas, the cameras that you should be considering for sure would be the A7 III and the A7C. I really like the A7C because it does have the flip out screen. It has a little bit better colors and it has the tracking autofocus versus the A7 III. But if you could get a good price on the A7 III, because it's a lot harder to find a good price than the A7C because it's still, people are
New,
still using it. It's still what I think it's like now, like the same price as the A7 III is. So it's really,
It's
if
about
you're
the
buying it
same,
new,
yeah.
I would say A7C. But if you're going for the used, man, you're gonna find crazy deals on the. I think I saw like a A7 III on Facebook Marketplace for like not $900 or $1,000, right? Like the other day, I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that is a great deal on a camera.
you sent me that one, and I'm kind of curious on the like realisticness of that sale because that showed up in my feed as well. It's one of those like online seller ones. So, but anyways, like the thing with the A7 IIIs, it's been out for 4 years now, so there's plenty of used ones, and people who've had that camera for 4 years, they look at it as a 4-year-old camera. The A7C is not even a year old, so maybe it's about a year old, I guess. So, you're going to find way better deals on that. You do want to keep in mind if you're using it for photography though, do check the like shutter counts on those used sales because the A7 III did have a problem towards the higher mileage shutter failures,
Yes,
and then you have to get them repaired. So and that's going to be similar with any camera with lots of clicks on it. So it's like an odometer.
absolutely.
You have to.
You just gotta do your research, due diligence. I mean, it is a little bit stressful buying a used camera because like anything electronic, you don't know how well the people took care of it, and if they're trying to hide something, like they know something's broken, but they're just like seeing if you don't notice. So I mean, the best thing to do is to buy a camera off Facebook in person. Go meet with the person. Make sure that you have a lens to be able to put on it, or that person has a lens that you could at least try it out on. Just see that, make sure the back of the screen works, make sure the viewfinder works, take a few shots, make sure that it works. See, like he said, see if you can get the shutter count of that camera, because and it's not the easiest step in the world, but it's not hard. You gotta like plug it into your computer via USB, and you can run a little script with the camera turned on, and it'll tell you what the shutter count is on the camera. So
Also look at the sensor too.
What's that?
I always look at the sensor too. When you buy a camera, you don't want to take the sensor off and see there's like a thumbprint or water spots and stuff. And you can clean it, but
yeah, I mean,
it's
a great. I loved that camera. I didn't need to upgrade to the A7C or the A7S III, but I don't know. I'm just a nerd, and I don't see myself upgrading to any other cameras in the future, even if the A7 IV does come out. But that camera, it was a fantastic camera, and it still is to this day. So, when these things, I mean, if I was you, I would still wait until the A7 IV comes out, because when the A7 IV gets announced and the hype is up and real, you're going to see the market flooded with A7 IIIs. And if you think they're cheap right now, they're going to be even cheaper. Pretty much people who are, I see a lot of A7 IIs, A7R IIs, A7R IIIs. They're all like flooding the market right now because they're wanting to try to sell them while they're worth some money. Because once the A7 IV comes out, I think everything is going to drop. That's below any of those lower models are going to end up dropping in price significantly.
I don't think the A7S III will drop. That will stay the same. Those cameras,
no, I don't think not the A7S III, but not the A7S III, not the FX3, but the A7C probably will.
I mean, we're also going to be coming up pretty soon, probably on a new A7C as well. So, Thomas, are you using it for photography or video mainly? Because I was going to say, if you're going to use it for photography, like the 6400 and 6600 are dang near just as good. So, granted, it's a crop, but
yeah, those are definitely. But I think it sounds like he wants to stay in the full frame world. So, but and if you're buying a camera just for photography, the A7 III being a full frame monster for that price is going to be definitely the way to go. Because the colors, when you're shooting photography, doesn't really matter that much. You shoot raw and you edit the photo to your liking anyway. So I don't think it's a huge deal for photography. I think the colors and all the upgradable features mainly for the A7 IV is going to be on the video side. The photography side, okay, sure, it's going to have a bigger megapixel sensor. Sure, it's going to have the faster tracking. And so the autofocus will be slightly better, but I think the biggest increase you're going to see with the A7 IV is in the video features. So I think if you're just using photography only, the A7 III is still a workhorse. So,
or even like I said, the A6400.
there you go. He said photos. So
yeah, it's a smaller sensor, but the A7, like the A66 and A6400, are still very, very good, capable photography cameras. So I did a whole video with that ridiculous Sigma lens. If you remember that one, Paul.
What's that?
When I did the Sigma 2-pound lens on the A6400.
Oh yeah,
most unbalanced setup I've ever used, but pretty much, yeah.
It was like putting. I mean, the A7C with that was like, ugh. This camera cage that you sent me it's a little. I feel like it would be a little bit more balanced now, but
that grip alone, though.
So the camera cage that you have for your A7 S3 is what it was made of. I can't remember what it was made of.
It's what is it? It's some sort of magnesium or something.
Yes, magnesium.
Yeah.
So mine is just regular aluminum. So the weight of mine is like this A7C cage is like, I think it's a little bit like it's almost double yours, or not quite that. Maybe like,
that rubber grip that's on it is probably more than what this. Like right now, my AirPods. Yeah, this feels about the same.
Hey, Kyle.
I guess my wife's home. Hey, honey.
Like these small rig cages are getting so light now that when I first got this, I was like, this is nothing. Like the box weighed more than this, with nothing in the box. So it's, it's kind of fun. I wish they would have put that thing on the bottom though on mine. You got that Arca Swiss plate on yours. I didn't get that.
Did you see the email that I sent you?
Yeah. They're gonna try to make a quick release.
Well, they asked me to give them like a 3D print, like if I have a 3D model of my idea. I'm like, I'm not a 3D model guy. Like I can't do that. But they should have the design for it because they already have their own 3D plate of the same thing that I'm talking about. So literally all they need to do is just figure out how to make that internal piece like in the middle of the build it into the middle of the cage, because it's the same size as the Arca. They just need to do whatever voodoo magic to make it just that maybe the middle part stick out a little bit or something. I think it would be a really hot selling cage. But
it makes sense to put those on the bottom of the cage. It incorporates it, and you don't have to use it. It doesn't matter if you can still put it on a regular tripod. But I hate that I have to constantly still put something on top of that as well. Mostly from when you set it down on the ground and then all of a sudden it leans because you got that Arca Swiss plate attached to it.
Is this the end of the A7R line, or will we see it? No, they're never going to get rid of the A7R line. The A7R line is always going to be coming out with new stuff. That's like their photography-centric camera. Sony breaks it down into like pretty much 3 categories, and really now 4. But they have the A7S line, which is like video-centric and super low light. Then you have, and they always have like a low megapixel count because they want the highest quality low light with the bigger pixels on that sensor, but they also want the file sizes to be reasonable. And then you got the A7R line, which is the photocentric side, which they've been having a lot bigger megapixel sensors. I wouldn't doubt if they come out with like an A7 V and it has like a 100 megapixel sensor or something crazy like that.
There's already some rumors going on about the A7R V as well. I remember seeing those. It looks like they're rumored right now. It's still going to be a 61 megapixel sensor, which I think the 4 is.
4 is a 61 megapixel sensor, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they might add some video components to it that are better. Probably like what's in the A7 III or 4. S-Log2 HLG.
And then they have the A7 III line, which is kind of like a compromise between video and photography, just like a budget of both those two cameras, some of the best features of those, but not as good on either end. And then you have the A1, which is like a friggin' monster. I forgot their A9 line too. Their A9 is like their sports photography, like super fast readouts, no blackouts, very good for sports photography. just can shoot like a 30 frames per second burst, which is pretty much like shooting video for photography. And then you have the A1 that just took all those lines and just rolled them into one camera.
Except for low light on video. That's the one thing you're never gonna. That's the low light on video. That's the one thing you're never gonna get out of any of those cameras, just because too big. You need those bigger
megapixel.
Can't say it. Bigger megapixel. That's why the 12 megapixel camera A7S3s are. I mean,
they're just crazy,
phenomenal.
But
phenomenal.
At the same time, that A1, if you see some of the low light stuff, it does a pretty good job. It's not nearly as good as the A7S3, but it's not super
If you
terrible.
get like the right lens, you can film anything on at night. You're never going out in the middle of the woods with no light and expecting a camera to work. You're always around a light source. So, like even when I took the A7S3 downtown Minneapolis, I put it to 1280. Just that's a good starting point. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I got to roll my like f-stop up to 5 because everything's completely overexposed. But it's like between that and the base ISO, you start getting too much noise. So there's some downsides to that as well. But
Kyle Thomas said that we're taking him with all these letters and numbers. We're taking him, making him feel like he's going back to school. I mean,
honestly,
we are going back to school right now, right?
I didn't understand Sony cameras for the longest time, and then I finally realized if there's no number, it's mediocre. It's pretty good at both. If it's an R, it's photo. If it's an S, it's video. And now that they have to screw us up again with the A1 and the 9, and there's all these extra ones. But I used to, like when I was I knew everything about all the crop sensors, and I'm looking at full frame the first time. I'm like, oh, this one's a good deal. And I'm like Googling it, I'm like trying to figure out what the camera is. And I was like, I don't understand all these A7, there's all these different A7 numbers. And it gets confusing that why they couldn't have just called the video A8 and photo A7, or why they had to put just different letters. I never understood that.
Yeah. So hey, what do you think about this live stream? We're going to be doing it regularly, but we're not be calling it the Alpha Shot. It was just like a beta thing for me. We're going to kind of go into more of a basic filmmaking.
I mean, I know we're talking Sonys a lot, and I just don't want to limit to just Sony and just like you don't want to bring a Canon shooter onto the Alpha Shot. They won't come out.
Right, but we're talking about what are our thoughts here? What are our thoughts on this?
I was thinking. God, what was it? Creators and Coffee or something like that. But I just saw Sydney had like a meetup named that.
His was the opposite way. Off him.
I thought of like the Creators Collective, which was kind of fun.
Creators Collective.
What did I have? I texted you a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I thought of Lights, Camera, White Balance. That's more of an inside joke.
It'd also be funny because my white balance is always so terrible. So Lights, Camera, White. Like Chris Brock keep making fun of me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when I talked to Jared about being a guest, he's like, "Well, if I come on the Alpha Shot, I'm just going to give you guys crap the whole time and talk about Black Magic then." And so it's, yeah, I want to create it more for a creator channel, a gear nerd channel, but also just like film in general, because there's some people that are just intrigued about like filmmaking and like doing stuff other than just YouTube channel stuff. So I could bring in couple guests that are in some bigger movies out there because they're writer and actors. So
the Camera Shot.
The Camera Shot, yeah. I don't know, something fun, but not anything crazy, and not like we want to be drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night anyway. So
I mean, I'm not even a coffee drinker unless it's I like my coffee with a little a lot of my sugar with a little bit of coffee. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not a coffee drinker at all. I fit the stereotype of the Kyle thing, and I drink Monster. So usually sugar free.
Say Park, he's another friend of mine. We shot together after camera camp, and our go-to drink is Rock Stars. We were running around the airport. They didn't have Red Bull in any of the places, which is his signature drink. And I was like, well, you should try my signature drink. It's a Rock Star. So we found a place that had Rock Stars.
For someone who's not a Rockstar drinker, like between Monster and Red Bull, first time I had a Rockstar, I took a sip and I was like, nope, done. Maybe it was the wrong flavor, but see, I rock these white Monsters that are the sugar-free ones. So
Oh yeah, I mean the rock stars are like literally drinking a pixie stick. You remember the pixie stick candy or whatever.
Yep.
That's how I relate them. Rock star is like just if that was like in liquid form, that's what a rock star tastes like. It's carbonated.
One thing that I hope that Sony does, and this isn't like a rumor, this is just something that I kind of hope they do at some point. I want them to make a better microphone that's not $400. That's incorporated to that's the one thing they really haven't stepped into a whole lot. They've tried to do it with a couple different ones.
I really like the idea of that microphone.
I do, and it's too tall and it's too kind of dingly. I don't know why they can't just make like some kind of shock mount thing that just slides in that fits. That's nice size, kind of like those Sennheiser ones.
Yeah, it's a weird size. The only reason why I didn't want to buy it, it's like I'm paying $350, so I'm paying like I'm paying like $150 more for wireless, like not to have to plug a wire in. But then I lose the fact that I can't like mount it on a stand or something like that, like you're doing right now. You're using the NTG. Like you lose that ability to be able to boom it because I don't think they have any cables that go from like the camera, and you can't plug a cable from the side into the side of the camera. You literally have to use the hot shoe. So
yeah, I don't like this. We're gonna go back to boom.
One day when Rode finally gets them in stock, I might actually get one, but who knows when Rode is going to be sending me.
Yeah,
that.
I kind of wanted to get that Rode
box.
Pod.
I might not even know if I get that microphone.
Yeah, the Rode Pod mic. Some people like it, some people don't. I know Ken had it. I think I saw him go back to the SM57, which that's a mic that's for
the SM7,
podcast. Yeah, SM7V. Sorry, that's one of the. I mean, that's my go-to mic in my recording studio. I don't even use my condenser mics anymore, and I sold off my Rode NT1 and my Warm Audio.
Yeah, I had a blue baby bottle, and I sold that as well.
But I still have a bunch of Rode mics at my studio too. That's something that I've been like, I don't know how to showcase that. I've been rocking Rode mics forever, but like I've been using them for recording studio stuff too, and I have all the like the NT5s and the.
When is your video coming out about the Go 2?
The microphones so I'm doing a video on the ZV-E10 microphones, and I like showing different microphones. I know that you could just put those on any camera and they'll probably sound the same, but realistically the preamps do change and color microphones a little bit, so it's always good to hear it on the same camera. I'm editing it now. Hopefully next week I'll have it up. It depends on if I go out and reshoot Saturday and my review video looks good. I'd rather put that up first, because I think it'd be nice to show like, hey, I like this camera. This is what I like about it, versus just, hey, go out and buy all this stuff for this thing. But the thing is, a lot of times people, for cameras like the ZV-E10, people want to buy that as like their first camera, and then they get it and they go, I need a better mic. I need a tripod. You need all these accessories that are going to make it usable.
Right.
And you just don't know what to buy because you're just getting into this camera stuff or YouTube. And I liked making those videos for the ZV-1 because I had that camera. I went through all that same stuff. I watched all the same videos for my cameras I bought, and it's nice to like have someone who already has all this stuff that can say like I have a Joby 5K, but that'd be the dumbest tripod in the world for the ZV-1. So it's just make a list that's like budget friendly, that are good options for cameras in that price range, and
right.
It helps people out. And obviously affiliate links, if people buy it stuff too, that helps us out, and we put it right back into the channel and buy more crap to show off to recommend. And so, that's the misconception when people have affiliate links, is they just think people roll in the money, but big channels, they just take that affiliate links and they roll it right back into the new gear.
Yeah, you're rolling right back into someone else. Yeah.
So it's nice. I have a few different Rode mics I'm testing for that as well. I wish I had that Sony mic, but once again, I don't think anyone's going to buy a $400 microphone on a $500, $600 camera. So, but
yeah, the microphone's like half the price of the camera. What do you think? What do you guys think about the iPhone 13 Pro and its cinematic mode?
I will not be buying it for that reason. If I bought an iPhone 13, I mean, if you don't want to,
I have the 12, and I just can't justify upgrading because it's not that much of a difference. And I have the 12 Pro, and the cinematic mode right now, it's got some work to do. You can see when around the edges of when you like lift your hand up or just objects up, it doesn't blend very well. And we saw the same thing with the portrait mode when it was first released. So I just, it looks really cool, and the future is definitely bright for this cinematic mode, and it's gonna get allow people to very easily get that cinematic background blur look that you get for portrait and for video. But it's got, I think that, they got a few more renditions before it's perfected a little bit better.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's cool. I wouldn't buy the phone just for that. I think the cameras are definitely getting better in low light now that they are the sensors slightly bigger. So that's a really cool thing to see. Phone cameras are coming a long way, but the cool thing about phone cameras getting better just means that Sony and all these other camera companies are going to even work harder to make their products outshine and give you huge benefits to using their cameras over a cell phone.
I think with the one thing that I kind of like about seeing it is that at some point you're going to see Canon and Sony try to put that in their cameras. Maybe not as extreme as, the cell phone's trying to make that look like a 1.4 aperture, but
right.
If they, as it is, they already have the background defocus button, which only works if you're in an automatic setting, and it just drops your camera to low aperture and adjusts. But I think at some point Sony might put in something like that to kind of deblur background.
I think it's the perfect feature, especially for the ZV line now. They and I said that on somebody's comments on Twitter, and one of the there's a film snob said, "Well, why do you need to do that when cameras can actually do that? In real life, when you get the right lens, it's like you're just making the camera do what it can already do. Not like the cell phone sensor can't do that, so they have to use technology." But I'm thinking of it like you said, you're not necessarily not making it. You can imagine having a f4 lens perform with the computational combined like a f1.4 or just it you could get. That means that you can make lenses small. If you had the computational mixed with the hardware, you could make lenses smaller and perform as well as some of these lower aperture lenses if you're mixing these technologies. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how that comes. And I know that Sony had mentioned before on one of their CEO had mentioned that they really are interested in utilizing the lidar for their autofocus system in the future. So I mean, that's crazy if they do that, because Sony autofocus right now is already amazing. If they use lidar, it'd be incredible.
For me, I think what you're going to see first probably though is that in photography you can already do this. I think it's on what's that Lightroom thing that you use? Not Lightroom, Luminar. Is that what it is?
Luminar, yes. Luminar AI.
And Luminar, there's already a function where you can make things look like low aperture. Peter McKinnon did a video on this where he shot everything in f8, and then he did the same shot in an f1.2. And in post, you can easily change that with a click of a button, and it'll just automatically do kind of what portrait mode does on a cell phone. So that already exists as software. I think it's a matter of time before that software pushes into a video where it can locate a person and then background deblur to make it look natural. Because that's the thing is that the iPhone's trying to do that live as it's recording. And then obviously in post it can render as well. But I think it's just, it doesn't have the CPU power to make that look perfect. So
right, and I don't even know if they. I mean, like you said, they might not even really need to do that necessarily while it's going. They could maybe figure out a way to do it in post. I have no. I don't know.
I think we're going to see it in post before you see it perfected in the phone. But I don't know. I've seen a whole bunch of videos on it where sometimes it looks good, and when you get people like McKinnon and they're showing their videos that says edited and graded, it's kind of like how much post-production went into making that look good. Because you can make a lot, you can make cell phones look great in post if you spend time. But I've seen a lot of other videos where people are walking around on Instagram it looks awful. It looks so fake and it looks, I would never use it. And honestly, I think at first it's going to be cool, but it's going to become a fad, just like portrait mode did for a lot of people, where they're just going to say, "I don't have the time for that."
Right.
And I know you can change the focus in post, which is sweet, but it's, and Sony put out their videos of what it looks like, and they made the little mini movies, and they look like cinema cameras.
Right.
So it's all, a lot of it's lighting, and making it look perfect in lighting. So it's a little misleading, I think, a little bit, but I like that they're doing it. It's cool. I would never buy the phone for that purpose at this point, but I mean, it's going to be in the camera moving forward. So at some point when we upgrade, it's going to be there anyways. So
Right. I mean, you don't know. I don't buy a phone for how well the camera performs. It just ends up being a perk for me. But like you said, you're going to buy a camera or you're going to buy a phone, and it's going to have these on it anyway. So
he asked his best advice on starting a YouTube channel. I know this is like a dead horse to say it, but just start. Like, you're never going to grow your channel by not starting. And that's think media. Everyone's going to keep saying the same thing over and over. YouTube is not
it
something
is definitely
that's,
being a dead horse. It's when I started, I was terrible, and I'm not even going to say that I'm perfect now. I think your goal is doing these YouTube videos is just each time try to get a little better and learn your stuff. And the truth of the matter is, you're not going to get better unless you're constantly creating and constantly practicing your skills. So the whole thing about it is you just got to do it. And the nice thing about starting now and posting, even if it's complete garbage when you first start, that you're slowly gonna find people that like your content. You're gonna slowly be building that audience, and instead of saying, "Man, I gotta wait till everything is perfect," and then but even when you're that good, like even if you're a Peter Lindgren good or something like that, you're still gonna have to go through that hassle of building the audience. And
but you watch those people's videos too, and their videos starting weren't great.
Right.
And some of them maybe were like, some people always said my videos look great right away, but this is my second channel. I went through all of that with cell phones and, RX100 cameras, and you're going to learn the most about YouTube while you're editing. You're going to go out, you're going to film a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to get back home and you're going to say, crap, I have like a 2-minute video and I recorded 4 hours worth of footage. And then you're going to start to hone in on like what you need to record, what you need to do for edit, the kind of shots you need to go get pickups on. Sometimes I'll get a complete edit done and then I'll go, I need this, and this. I'll go out and reshoot stuff, and I'll either add it in as like B-roll or, splice it in a shot. You'll have several times where you're going back out to the same location wearing the same clothes you wore 4 days ago. So you can like fake it like you never were, like it was all the same day recorded. I had plenty of those as well. In fact, my next video is probably going to have a little bit of that as well. But it just, you have to, I know it's cliche. It's just, it's going to take a while to build. That first 100 subscribers is the toughest thing to get on YouTube. It doesn't matter who you ask. If you can ask the people who have 5 million subscribers, they're going to say that first 100 was their hardest thing to get, unless they're already like a famous person or something. But it's just, no one knows who you are. You're not triggering any kind of algorithm. Your videos probably aren't great, but you're going to learn yourself from those first 10 videos. And if you'd hate them and they don't, whatever, just delete them later. But you need to start building a small crowd. And then, like, I remember I had, 3 subscribers, and then I was watching my channel regrow again as a second channel, terribly slow. And then all of a sudden it was like, I had 50, I had 60, I had 80. And then like a month later I had 100, and then 500, and then 700, and then 1,000.
He grew fast too. Like he blew. I mean, I was already doing YouTube for like a year, and I was like at like, I don't know, 500 or 600 or something like that. And he just was like, 200, 300, 400. Oh, he passed by me, and he's. But like he said, he's been doing his channel. He had the other channel for a long time.
I've been doing video production since I was in high school too, so it's been 20 years of doing that. But a lot of it too is just like you need to learn yourself how to do it. Watch tons of YouTube tutorials, videos. You'll get better. Don't copy everyone else, but kind of copy everyone else at the same time. That's how you'll learn initially. Is you see those channels that are big. They do like don't go watch their current stuff necessarily, but go watch what they did to get big, and you'll start seeing this kind of formula of how they structure stuff and it kind of, I mean, it depends on what genre you're doing anyway, so I don't know what
Right.
you're shooting, but there's always like I've seen so many channels where you just see some like old lady with an iPhone and you look at her channel, you're like, how does she have 40,000 subscribers? Like, this is awful. But there's a market
It's
for
the content.
everything. So
it's
and it's just
if you're doing a filmmaking channel, you gotta have like it's super hard because you gotta have like the best looking video. The standards are higher for those type of channels, and then you see those people that are just like blabbering to their phone, and you're like, you said they have like 40,000 subscribers. You're like, how do people watch this? But there's people that watch different all kinds of things. So
yeah, and there's not a camera being sold, even if it's a cell phone out there, that is going to be not capable of doing any kind of channel you want. And then as you get, you grow, once you get to the point where like my phone doesn't cut it anymore, get a camera. And once that camera doesn't cut anymore, improve to another camera. Sorry, I just had some Italian food at the Mall of America, getting some burps now. But no, it's and it's something that you want to have fun doing. Try to be consistent with it and just have fun growing with it. Because if you don't have fun with it, it's going to show and people aren't going to want to watch your channel and you'll burn out. And I got to a point where I felt like I had to do every single week, where you start getting that pressure from, like, most of it's yourself. You think like, I'm going to lose my subscribers or people are going to forget about me. And so, but it's healthy to take breaks, every now and then. And I've had a couple times where I've just put off 2 weeks of videos and came back to it, and you watch your dip and then your thing grows again. So you just got to take what you want to do and just start doing it. Like, my first videos didn't get any views until, like, they get views now, but they didn't get views for a while. So,
and that's what we ended on, people.
yeah,
Just go out there and do it. It is 10:17. I've been streaming for almost an hour and a half. Thank you so much for joining me at the end, Kyle. It's always a pleasure to see your face, and I know that we're going to be doing this stream together starting next week. So just keep everybody keep those notifications on. We're probably going to do it on Wednesday nights now. So just go subscribe to Kyle's channel and go subscribe to mine, and we're going to be flipping back and forth between whose channels we're going to do it on, and we're going to change the name and get it all squared away. So.
And we'll definitely be posting on our community tabs too, like the link. So if it's on Paul's channel, I'll post it on mine. So so that way you guys won't miss it. So I'm excited.
Hey, Thomas,
for it, man.
thanks for hanging out with us the entire time. I really appreciate it. I hope you find that a great deal on A7 III, and find me on Twitter or Instagram. I use Twitter a lot, but if you can, I get both. You just let me know if you ever get an A7 III. I'd love to see your journey and see how you use that. So that's really cool. Eat more possum. Sweet.
What?
Interesting. I would never want to eat more possum, but I've never had possum. I'm too afraid to try it. He said, thanks, Kyle. So, everybody, check us out. Make sure you subscribe, because we're going to be doing videos, live streams, just like this one, every single week. This was kind of like a off-the-cuff Friday night video, but we're going to typically do these on probably Wednesday night. And just, like I said, subscribe and hit those bell notifications so you know when we post videos.
And we're going to have some fun guests, too.
We're going to have some guests coming in, so keep that in mind. You have anything else to say, Kyle?
No, I'm not going to eat this microphone like you do either. Don't do it.
I'm never eating a microphone again. No, that's only allowed on Dobo's channel. My wife would kill me if I ate it on my channel, because I have a lot of people that watch. They would not appreciate that. That would not be cool. Anyways, everybody have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday night. And we'll keep you up to date on these Sony rumors as they post. And I know I'm going to try to be pumping out videos every single time I see an update. So
next week's probably going to be crazy with rumors too.
Oh, next week is as we get closer. Maybe I'll be able to get another one of those 12,000 views videos from one of the rumors. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining with us, guys.
Hey, man.
Take care, Kyle. Subscribe to both channels, and you guys know that I'll see you in the future.